I'm here with Vitality today, looking forward to a summer of health, excitement, opportunity, freedom, and generally people getting fit and feeling great about themselves and enjoying an amazing few months of hopefully a bit of sunshine as well.
What did you make of that first test?
I thought it was exciting. I thought it was a great game. I thought it was a well-fought contest, very even. I thought New Zealand deserved to win, but I thought the Lions at times had a shot at completely turning the game, and they earned that shot. There wasn't a kind of couple of interceptions or whatever. At times they were the team out there. Had you flicked on the TV immediately and just seen that passage of play, you'd have thought they were the number one team. You know, the counter-attack try, some of the stuff that they put together. I mean, it was difficult to defend. It was very high level skill and rugby from a team that's come together and is finding its feet. I thought it was hugely, I guess, positive looking forward.
Will they have to be at their absolute best to have a chance of winning?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think so. There's not a team in the world, I think, at the moment who can claim that they can beat the All Blacks by not being at their absolute best. There's also a degree of saying, can they catch New Zealand when New Zealand aren't at their absolute best? But it's very difficult to decipher or to discern between New Zealand at its absolute best and not, because either it hardly ever happens or we've maybe seen it but just haven't recognised it because they are that efficient at the moment, that effective. So yeah, they're going to have to be good. They're going to have to be, more than anything, they're just going to have to be incredibly excited. Excited about this. It's going to be a case of going after what they want. It can't be a case of trying to hold New Zealand out. When I say inspired, you can't be inspired about let's hold them out. Let's be incredibly sort of strong. It's not inspiring. Inspiring is let's go out there and just that counter-attack stuff, that liveliness, that's the whole image of the game for me, and the solidity and the defence is just what's underneath. A lot of the talk afterwards seemed to be about missing opportunities and not taking them and not being as clinical as potentially was possible. And sure enough, there seemed to be key moments where, had they been taken, certainly the scoreline would have changed, and maybe that would have. You can't say it would have changed the game completely, but you can say it certainly would have changed that moment. So the clinical side is key, but the guys weren't trying to be unclinical. So a case of finding out what is that missing part. Is it freeing guys up a bit, or is it giving them more guidelines? Is it framework? I think, to be honest, for me, the space is in freeing guys up as opposed to giving them tighter game plans. So the framework around defence, make that very, very strong. In terms of attack, I think let players go. Realise that that's the most amazing piece of play in the entire game was the try. It was O'Brien that scored the try. It was just phenomenal. Just the whole game was based on that moment. It was amazing, and that came from just you don't practice that on the field. You just say, right, what are you amazing at? Go be that. What are you great at? Daly on the wing, Liam Williams at the back. What are you great at? Just do it. And then let's see where we get with that. But if you can back it with a defence that says nothing's coming through, an attack that says anything's possible, it's there. If you get the other way round, you're in terrible strait. But if you try and say defence is amazing and attack is going to be amazing, you're then in a space of almost losing that edge that I think can turn the game.
The chat between Warren and Steve Hansen that's been going on.
It's all part of it, whether it's the mind games, whether it's kind of interesting, and I know it makes a hell of a sort of spectacle for the guys around it. In terms of how much of it gets filtered down, it all gets filtered down. I'm hearing about it now. I'm one of the most distant people from that, and I'm hearing about it now. Even if it's through you, it all gets filtered down. Social media and other medias now mean that you hear everything. The filter that the players provide themselves is the key one, and that filter is ultimately one of relevance. What is relevant to me in terms of my goal, in terms of how I want to feel and how good I want to be? Is it relevant? No, it makes no difference. If players need to sort of find an enemy in order to be better for the weekend, then they can make it relevant if they want. But most of this, to be honest, it's largely irrelevant. The player just needs to know, am I playing? When's training? What's the game plan? What's my job? How can I get better? Done.
You're part of that famous 2003 win in Wellington. What are your memories of that night?
I remember that game, and all I remember is that the entire game was spent on a physical and mental heightened alertness and awareness. There is no point where you just don't get a breather. Every second was, what next? How do we do it? What do we need? It was just contribution to the effort in the most relevant way. When we finished the game, we walked into change room, and I think we were a bit like, we underperformed. And I think that was a really nice message for us, was that I'm sure New Zealand probably felt that they weren't really at the races either, but we sort of there wasn't the big adulation. It was almost like, we can do better. But mentally, when you're out there, you have to be right on it. But it has to be that moment. Everything that's gone, minute 1 goes into minute 2, goes into minute 3, and they get better and better and better because of each minute. Just 100% in that moment against that team, playing whatever's there. Otherwise, you get caught out quite quickly.